Welcome to Ultimate Survival Gear. Today, as you guys can see, I have yet again something from Altra. Excellent brand so far. Let's open up the box and see what we got today, because these are their new Altra Superior 5. And check this out. I mean, if you want to stand out of the crowd, you can't go wrong. But even more so, if you want to have the coolest looking freaking outsole. I mean, look at that. Yes, pretty freaking awesome. So overall, I do like these shoes quite a lot. They're very comfortable, excellent traction, excellent stability, packed with features. I mean, I love pretty much everything about these shoes. They do fit more on the wider side. They're wider in the toe box. So if you prefer that wider fit, you're gonna appreciate this. Currently $120 on Amazon. The link is in the description below. If you're ready for the main review, let's get into it. As some of you already know, this is not just a regular shoe review. This review is specifically for my ultimate survival shoes or boots section. Basically, if these weren't just your regular hiking shoes or trail running shoes, but something bad happened, and maybe you were wearing them or you had them in the house and you put them on, and now you had to survive. Yes, survive. You had to walk for miles, you had to run occasionally, you had to climb, you had to fight, you had to wear these for weeks without taking them off. Would they be good for all that stuff? Or would they get you killed? Well, how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin. Criteria number 1, comfort level. And in order to test the comfort level of all the shoes and boots that I review on this channel, I do a 3-mile run and then a 5-mile walk, non-stop, no pauses in between, and then I continue wearing the shoes for the rest of the day, so the total wear time is about 8 hours. Like I said in the beginning, I love the comfort level of these shoes, and there are, of course, multiple factors that contribute to that comfort. Let's start with the first one, the weight, and I have my scales handy over here. This is size 10, and the size 10 is, I forgot, I was guessing, so I started guessing the weight. Shoes before weighing them, so I think these are, I would say, 11.6. Well under. Great. 9.5. Very, very impressive weight. Now, usually I tell everyone that if you watched any of my previous reviews, tell everyone that you want something under 20 ounce. The more under 20 ounce, the lighter it's going to be. The more over 20 ounce, the heavier it's going to be. So, that's for boots in general. That's for shoes, boots, just in general number. For trail running shoes, usually I try to find something under 15 ounce. If it's under 10 ounce, freaking amazing. But under 15 ounce, I would say is acceptable for the trail running shoes, hiking shoes, shoes in general, something without the shaft. 9.5. Excellent weight. Altra did a great job, but that's not the only thing that contributes to the comfort level. There's flexibility of the outsole, and check this out. It is very, very flexible, and it creases in just the right spots. Besides, the place where it creases here, as you can see, this fabric, I mean, it is super soft, super comfortable. So whenever it creases, there is absolutely no pressure points here at all, which is excellent. Excellent, especially for running. I mean, imagine running and just creasing every second, every 2 seconds, it just creases and creases. So if you have a heavier fabric up here, it creates a pressure point on top of your foot. And I mean, after a few miles of that pressure, you start developing fatigue. Not good. Not the case here. Excellent job, Altra. Moving on to the inner sole. I'm gonna take it out, if it is removable. I'm not sure if it's removable yet. I think it is. Yep, check this out. Boom. Alright. Very nice inner sole, nicely shaped. Some arch support, some heel pad, very decent amount of cushioning. I mean, you can probably use this inner sole just to blind people up how bright it is, just reflector. Hey, if you need like a SOS signal waving down from the mountain, you can do that. Yeah, check this out. It's super bright. Okay? So, very good whenever it comes to the impact protection. You take it out, but there's more cushioning. As you can see, there's another gray layer there, and that gray layer is actually very nice jelly type of layer, and it adds definitely a lot to that impact protection. Great job with the cushioning. I love it. Moving on to all the padding that we got some padding in the shaft. Nice, the heel is nicely padded, and then going through the shoe itself is very soft, very comfortable in the inside thanks to this fabric. Obviously, the very front of the toe box is on the harder level, harder kind of feel, because you have that little rubber cap at the very front, which kind of creates a little bit of a harder feel from the inside. So make sure to get these in the right size so that your toe is not touching the front. Okay, on the comfort, overall, fantastic job, Altra. Let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. These are not waterproof. I don't mind them not being waterproof. These are shoes. I really don't care that much for waterproof shoes because there is not much clearance here anyway. That's fine. Protection wise, again, you don't really have a lot. Your ankles are wide open. There's a little bit of reinforcement in the heel, not much. There's a little bit of reinforcement here at the very front. Again, all this is very, very soft, so keep that in mind. But you do have decent amount of protection from the outside because this rubber is actually very nice, good quality rubber that gives you very decent amount of protection. So basically, protection wise, expect what you would expect from any hiking shoes or trail running shoes. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Quality wise, Altra is always killing it, always great job. So far, everything I reviewed from them was, spot on. And you can judge by the Amazon reviews. Like I said, the link is in the description below. These are a little bit newer, so there's not that many reviews just yet, but I'm sure it will be coming up more and more and more because these are really, really great shoes. So speaking of the design features, here usually I talk about the lacing system. Very basic lacing system, very thin, flat strings. I'm not a fan of thin flat strings, but they work over here. Plus these are designed to save on weight. As you can see, all the hooks are close hooks, fabric hooks. Again, all of that is to save on weight. You can definitely tell. One more thing that I wanted to mention here in the design features, something very unique, something very cool, I like it about Altra, is as you can see, the tongue is not just gusseted. It's gusseted on one side and it's completely closed off on the other, so you have a good wraparound feeling. It adds to the comfort. It adds to kind of a water resistant features, even though these are not advertised as water resistant or waterproof, but you still have a little bit, so tiny little splashes. It'll definitely give you a little bit of that coverage, and overall this is just, I think, more practical. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 4 now. Outsole traction stability. Yes, it's a really cool looking outsole, probably one of the coolest looking outsole designs I've seen, and it actually does work very well. Now, in order to test the outsole traction stability, I do my run and my walk that I mentioned in the criteria number 1. I do them on a variety of different surfaces. I start with older asphalt, then the newer tarmac, dry sand, dry grass, wet grass, rocky road, trail surface, concrete, marble tile, rubber, and then a rock wall. And this performs great on pretty much everything. It's a good balance of aggression and flatness. These grooves are pretty aggressive, especially here on the front. They call it a claw, and you can see why, because it does look like a freaking claw, and it does work like a claw as well. I mean, if you want that freaking aggressive grip on surfaces like wet grass, for example, I mean, you can run through slippery stuff like wet grass and it will have a decent bite for you not to just slide around. So Altra did an excellent job, excellent job. One thing I kind of wish there was some ridges here and here for climbing. Again, not a big deal, really not a big deal, just me kind of looking for that versatility. But overall, on the climbing, on the like a rock wall, another thing that I kind of wish, and I wish this part right here, this rubber, was a little bit more like stickier, you know, stickier, kind of like a sticky rubber, which is good for climbing. Not a big deal. Overall, it's still usable for climbing. As you can see, it's very low profile toe box, so you can, you can sneak in these shoes into little cracks, which is very helpful for, again, climbing. But these are not climbing shoes. It's just me, because it's a survival or ultimate survival review, I look at everything and I kind of just be as versatile as possible. Just random mentioning stuff. Okay, down with the outsole. Overall, excellent outsole for trail running, for hiking. Excellent freaking outsole. One of the best in the hiking shoes, trail running shoes that I have seen so far. Let's move on to the criteria number 5, temperature. Of course, no point to talk about winter or cold. These are not winter boots, shoes, nothing. There's no insulation. They're not waterproof, so forget about it. In the hot temperatures, excellent. Very breathable, very light material here, very breathable fabric. So 3 season, easy. Let's move on to the criteria number 6, sizing. These are true to the size, but I do recommend getting half a size bigger than your normal shoe size, just so that you have a little bit of extra space between your toe and the very front of the toe box. Because if you don't have that extra little space and your toe is touching the front, after some time walking or running, you're gonna start feeling fatigued from your toe kind of pushing into that front of the toe box. You don't want that. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 7, balance of application. So if these really were your, not just your regular trail running or hiking shoes, but actually ultimate survival shoes, something bad happened and now you are surviving in these, would they be good? Okay, so if you are the type of person that prefers mobility, speed, you want to be as lightweight as possible because your survival scenario is just freaking getting out of whatever you are and just running and running and walking and running and covering miles and miles and miles in a day, as lightweight as you can be. This is a pretty freaking good option. I mean, if as a trail running shoe with a versatile outsole like this that can handle pretty much anything you throw at it, with the comfort level, with extra amount of cushioning, which is not typical. Honestly, I want to mention it here because I think it's important. It's not typical to have an extra layer of cushioning, especially in the hiking shoes, because usually you want that extra level of cushioning in something like backpacking boots, right? So you have a heavy load, you are hiking with a backpack 40, 50, 60 pounds right on you. You want extra cushioning that will prevent that eventual fatigue that because of all that weight that you are putting in on the shoe. You don't normally see those in the hiking shoes, trail running shoes. Here, I think it's great, excellent job that Altra implemented that, because honestly, if you're running for, you can run for 3, 4, 5 miles properly without putting any stress on your, heels, on your ankles, on your knees, fine. But after some time, however good you might be, your level of running, you're gonna get tired. And when you get tired running, your form starts going south and you start going, putting a little bit more stress on the heels, obviously transferring that stress on the ankles, on your knees, and now you're getting in trouble little by little, all right? You don't want that. Here, this is what it's designed for. You're running for however long you're running, you're tired, now you're putting that stress, you have extra protection to give you that, to protect you from that impact of putting that stress on your heel. So Altra did an excellent job. And let's move on to the very last criterion here, criterion number 8, the price. $120 currently on Amazon. Yes, this is a little bit on the pricier side considering that these are not waterproof. There's no Gore-Tex waterproofing or anything fancy like that. A little bit on the pricier side. I would expect them to be a little bit closer to 100. I think that would have been more fair, but you got to keep in mind that these are the newer model. So usually whenever the new boots, new shoes are just coming out, they're like at their full price, which is usually a little bit overpriced. And then you wait 6 months, a year, and new models come out and they go down. So expect these to be probably in the next year going down to probably like around closer to 100, maybe even $90. 120, yes, it's expensive compared to a lot of other stuff that is out there on the market. It is a good competition, okay? In that price range, there is good competition from Salomon, from La Sportiva, from Merrell, from Arc'teryx, Jack Wolfskin. There's a lot of stuff out there in that price range. But like I said in the beginning, Altra is a little bit of a wider toe box, and obviously the outsole is very unique. So if you are a fan of the brand, if you prefer a wider fit, if you prefer this kind of outsole, I mean, your choice is pretty clear. You really can't go wrong with these shoes because they really are freaking awesome. They really are superior. Okay, so let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think about this this shoe right here? What do you think about this review in general? If you have any requests for reviews, drop them in the comments below and I will be happy to address them. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Ultimate Survival Gear. I'll see you guys in the next video.